We will never tolerate anyone mistreating China like that, intimidating China, issuing ultimatum to China. If you slap me in the face, I slap you back. That is the tit for tat, and this is exactly what's happening.
Now, the tariff Trump just imposed on Nigeria exports. This tariff is not just a number, means that Nigeria will pay more through our nose, because this tariff now, it will increase dollar.
Without United States, you have nothing, China. Yes, MAGA, we don't have child labor, school shooting, homeless problem, genocide, oligarchy, monopoly, crazy expensive yet inefficient.
It's going to be a problem if this tariff stands in America and American buyers of our crude decide to walk away because our crude have become more expensive in America. Hence, these people will start looking for cheaper alternatives.
If you slap me in the face, I slap you back. China will never allow any country, including the United States, to throw the rule of free trade out of the window and to be presumptuous enough to say, this is the way I do. I hold a gun at your hand, cry uncle, and kneel in front of me. No, China will never do that. Whether other countries will decide to do that, that's their choice. But China will never do that.
So do you think that President Trump misjudged China when he said that they had gambled and made a huge mistake, and yet at the weekend it was Donald Trump who lifted the tariffs on mobile phones and computers coming into the country?
I think China's view is very clear. We will never tolerate anyone mistreating China like that, intimidating China, issuing ultimatum to China. If you slap me in the face, I slap you back. That is the tit for tat, and this is exactly what's happening. Now, Chinese government also declared by imposing 125% tariff against total U.S. export to China, the U.S. products have no marketability in the Chinese market, meaning they are ready to see an end to China-U.S. trade, to the China export to the United States and vice versa. That is the ultimatum China is issuing to the United States. Don't mess with me. Otherwise, I close the market for you. You will be locked out of China. It's not China losing the US market. The United States runs the risk of being completely locked out of the China market.
Now, the tariff Trump just imposed on Nigeria exports. This tariff is not just a number, means that Nigeria will pay more through our nose, because this tariff now, it will increase dollar. Now, the only crude oil here where we put hope, where we put our life, that means there is no way we will get fuel at the rate of 1,000 plus. We are going to 2,000. I'm saying it, everybody is watching. See, we have to hold our leader responsible for this thing, because what they are doing and what Troy is trying to do, it will only favor the rich ones. Now, we the citizens, we are going to suffer. I bet you. See, the only local production we have, now they don't take insecurity, take condemn. That means whatever we are going to consume is coming from the Westerner. As the world is going now, Nigeria needs a president that will understand what is going on in the global stage. We don't need a president that will take this country for his own selfish interest and for his own family generational interest. Now you promise us change. The change you promise us is to suffer, to put us into bondage, to put us into poverty. The people that looted this money before you came into power, you know them. Why did you bring them to justice and move this money out of them and use it for the change? Nothing has been done. Rather, it's for you busy making the rich, the senators, to get richer, while the poor is getting poorer. Every citizen has turned a beggar in this country. This is the time you people need to take action. The other time, the Senate president said, if you swear that they do party, may you stop it. Imagine that kind of mentality when they said to us as a citizen. Until everybody go to the street and start begging, start vandalizing the big men. Now that time, when I want to take action, maybe you know they know what they happen. Children are dropping out of school. No family can boast of 3 square meals in this country now. Nobody can even travel out of his own state to say, I want to go to another state to go and see anybody. So is this what our ancestors fight for?
Do you know how much a Chinese factory make for a pair of Nike shoes? $10, which sells 150 on the shelf. A Stanley Cup, $50, the factory gets $1. But when they sell millions of them, that's millions of dollars. And all surplus. That's where the surplus comes from. But for every $1 the factory made, somebody in America is making $49. Who is benefit from the globalization? And think about the pollution the factory has to cause in the local area. Who is benefit from the globalization? I don't know.
Recently, the American government slammed 14% tariff on Nigeria's major export to the US. If you understand this tariff thing, you will know that Nigeria is in trouble. Now, let us use a bag of rice as our major export, for example, to explain this tariff. Okay? Imagine that you are selling a bag of rice to somebody in the US for 10,000 naira. Assume that is our export. With the 14% tariff, it simply means that bag of rice that was selling for 10,000 naira in the US will start selling for 11,400. What has happened is that with the 14% tariff, which is an additional tax of 1,400, that bag of rice that was selling for 10,000 naira is now selling for 11,400, which has made it more expensive for the people in the US. What this means is that the US have made that your product more expensive in their country, and which will start discouraging people from buying your product. Hence, the people will start looking for cheaper alternatives. In Nigeria's own situation, our major export to the US is our crude. So what the US is doing is that US is now making our crude more expensive in their country by slamming an additional 14% tariff on our crude. Do you understand? And this can discourage buyers because they will start looking for cheaper alternatives because our product have become more expensive in their country. So they will start looking for local and cheaper alternatives to our crude. Will this affect our economy? Yes. So that is why I said there's a problem. There's a bigger problem in the country because you and I know that the crude is basically the export in Nigeria that the government uses to survive. Our budget is reliant on how much crude we sell, basically. Our debt servicing is reliant on how much crude we sell. So you understand that because the consumers in America and the businesses in America are the people to pay the excesses of this tariff, right?
Without United States, you have nothing, China. Yes, MAGA, we don't have child labor, school shooting, homeless problem, genocide, oligarchy, monopoly, crazy expensive yet inefficient healthcare system, heavy tax on working class, property tax every year, anti-Semitism awareness law, supremacy bubble you live in, built by multi-billion-dollar worth propaganda, a fake free speech, fake democracy. Yeah, you guys got it all. Also, we don't have MAGA.
The US just hit Nigeria with a 14% tariff over trade restrictions and tensions are rising. Nigeria banned 25 key products like US beef, pork, fruit juice, and even pharmaceuticals. Washington says that's unfair and that it blocks US exporters from Nigeria's fast-growing markets. In 2024, US exports surged to $4.2 billion, which was a 61% increase, while imports barely moved, which means the US cut the trade deficit in half, making the gap between US exports and imports with Nigeria decrease by 50%, which was beneficial for boosting domestic industries and stabilizing the economy. However, this progress is now at risk due to Nigeria's policy shifts. Should Nigeria stick to its bans or compromise to keep US trade flowing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
中国人不惹事，也不怕事。施压、威胁和讹诈不是同中方打交道的正确方式。中方必将采取必要措施，坚决维护自身正当合法权益。如果美方置两国和国际社会的利益于不顾，执意打关税战、贸易战，中方必将奉陪到底， 我想美方的所作所为没有体现出想要认真对话的意愿。美方如果真的想谈，就应该拿出平等、尊重、互惠的态度。
If you guys haven't been paying attention, between this drama with Trump and China and the tariff situation, China lifted their ban on counterfeit products being made in China. And around the same time, we started to see an influx of Chinese sources basically saying, hey, the items that you guys think are fake or the items that are being paid top dollar for, they're one, made in the same factory as the fakes, and they're not worth what you guys are paying for it for. It's literally costing us $5 to make, and you guys are paying thousands and thousands of dollars. We now have people on the internet literally arguing whether these people are telling the truth or not. When at the end of the day, the point still stands, is that we as American consumers are spending a lot of money for things that, one, don't really hold their value. And if they do hold their value, it's only because we place the value on them. You have girls who will literally get on a flight, go to Dubai, have a bunch of people boo-boo in their mouth for a bag. A bag that only costs $30, $40 to make. Sometimes not even that. That's the point of them coming out, letting you know that the way you guys are paying money for stuff, y'all don't have to pay as much money as you're being charged. That's the point of what they are saying. That point still stands, whether or not they're lying. When we get on here and we tell you guys, hey, that bag, yeah, it's cute, but I would rather you get out of debt, y'all get mad at us. Y'all say poor people deserve nice things. And I agree. Poor people do deserve nice things. But at what expense? At what expense do you deserve those nice things? You also deserve a life of not being frustrated about not being able to pay your bills, not being able to feed your kids, not being able to do fun things with your kids. You deserve a life that is not financially stressful. And that's the point a lot of us are trying to make. And y'all done lost the plot. Y'all on here arguing whether the Chinese people is telling the truth or not. Who cares? Who cares? You still broke.
No matter if Trump imposed 100, 200, or 500 tariffs, Chinese companies will be not afraid because we have the powerful countries. We have the best products here and also the best machine in our factory. Welcome everyone to contact me.